President Donald Trump has suggested that Microsoft is in talks to acquire TikTok, reigniting discussions around the platform's future in the United States tech landscape. What does this mean for the platform, for Microsoft, for TikTok, and US-China relations? Joining me now to discuss further is Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Good to see you. Karen, it's the TikTok bidding war, it seems. Microsoft really interested in TikTok?
It seems so. Reporters asked President Trump if that was the case, if Microsoft had shown an interest in TikTok, and he said yes. So yeah, interesting times if that actually happens. But it seems to be there's a number of businesses or organisations really interested in buying or being part owner of TikTok in the US.
Yeah, we've certainly heard things like Mr. Beast even being put forward, influencer and YouTuber extraordinaire, and of course Elon Musk as well. But what's driving this renewed push for a sale? I thought we'd put the stamp on it, cut it down, then it came back, and now we're sitting in this sort of purgatory, if you will.
There's a time frame that they have to still sell part ownership to a US company. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Thinking about Microsoft and why they might be interested, and clearly they would have access to a much younger market. But think of the data that they would also have access to in relation to TikTok users, and particularly American TikTok users. I think it is definitely of interest to them for that.
It's interesting. I'm being thrown back to those advertisements where it was like, I'm a Mac and I'm a PC. And you had the nerdy gentleman on the left and the cool young hip guy on the right. But how could this impact US-China tech tensions? We're seeing a lot of interesting stuff, especially when it comes to AI at the moment.
It's really hard to say, but with the most important story that has really come out over the last couple of days is that of DeepSeek. And so I think with that thrown a real spanner in the works and disrupted the industry, which has nothing to do with Microsoft, but US and China tensions have arisen from that, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't fully understand exactly what DeepSeek is offering, other than it is on par, if not faster, than what we're seeing in ChatGPT, what OpenAI has got on offer. But what makes its model a real threat to US firms, do you think? What's got them scared?
It's because it actually, DeepSeek used older technology to create something that was at least on par with certain models used by ChatGPT. And it was also done in a much cheaper way, and it doesn't use as much power as well to actually do that. And so that's really disrupted things because it's shown that it can be done in a less expensive way with less impact on the environment as well. From my understanding, and look, no tech engineer,
yes,
I'm more about the application side of it, but it was described to me the difference in the way the models work is that, and I could be wrong, but what I was told is that with something like ChatGPT, when people put in a query, it goes off to the whole model and tries to bring back the information to then come back with the response. But with DeepSeek, it's actually, they've created sort of mini models around different topic areas. And so rather than go and search the whole model, it just goes off to the relevant model area or topic area to bring back the information, which actually saves a lot of power in doing that. So
that's really good to hear.
To the way it's been trained.
Yeah, I've had people say to me, every time you use a ChatGPT prompt, you're killing 3 fish or something like that. It is a concern, obviously, the cooling that these data centers require. So it's wonderful to hear there may be a solution. How are companies like OpenAI and NVIDIA responding? They took a dip yesterday in the stock market.
A dip? Yeah, it was over $700 billion loss in market value on the stock market, which is, yeah, it was a pretty big dip. So they are not happy, of course, and they're really coming out and saying that our product's more superior, and these are the holes in it, and data security, and there's all these sort of things that they are trying to find deficiencies in the DeepSeek model. However, I've played, I play with a lot of them, and I have tried DeepSeek, and when it works, it's great, but I think there are a lot of people jumping on, and there's even people trying to hack into it and things like that. So it hasn't been very consistent for me when I'm using it. So it times out and things like that before I get what I want out of it. But I think there's a lot of interest in it, so it's trying to cope with that. But that when it does respond, it actually is pretty good. And what I really like about it is that it almost steps you through its reasoning. It's reasoning and chain of thought around what it's actually going to give you. So it almost has this, like, it writes it out, this little mini conversation that it actually has with itself to bring together the information to then give to you. So I find that very interesting, and it's not something that I've seen on other AI platforms, not in that way anyway.
Yeah, certainly interesting times ahead, and it's nice to see something new for us to focus on when it comes to a new player in the field. It was feeling a little bit like OpenAI was taking up all the space, but no doubt people will be pulling it apart like warm bread over the next few months as we continue to see what happens next. Dr. Karen Sutherland,